Imagine an empire spanning 3 continents, from the Balkans to Anatolia, Middle East to North Africa, ruling for over 600 years, surviving wars, plagues, revolts, changing times. That empire was the Ottoman Empire, and its secret lay not just in swords and walls, but in a financial system that managed taxes, trade, coinage, war funding, and debt, adapting to changing global economics for centuries. From the very start, the Ottomans understood that money is more than exchange. It is the symbol of sovereignty. Their monetary system was built on metal coinage, gold, silver, copper, depending on era and need. Coins were minted under the Sultan's authority, establishing legitimacy and trust across vast lands. The Sultan's seal on coins was not only a sign of value, but also a symbol of centralized control and power, ensuring the loyalty of distant provinces. In early centuries, much of the economy was agrarian. The empire used land-grant systems, such as the timur system, lands given to cavalry servicemen in return for military service, instead of paying them salary. On these lands, peasants farmed and paid a portion of produce as tax. In many rural areas, a tithe, called ashar, was charged on agricultural output, sometimes 1/10 or more for profitable crops. This system ensured a steady flow of food, trade goods, and revenue without a heavy cash economy, a clever balance for a pre-modern agrarian empire. It also allowed the empire to maintain a large army without direct expenditure by integrating peasants, soldiers, and landholders into one system. As trade routes, land and sea, passed through Ottoman territories, commerce became a key part of the economy. Goods from Asia, Africa, and Europe flowed through Ottoman-controlled ports and lands, generating wealth. The state collected custom duties on trade, which became a vital revenue stream, especially when agricultural yield fluctuated or during territorial expansion. Merchants from Venice, Genoa, and other European states frequently interacted with Ottoman markets, bringing new goods and money, while the empire leveraged its position to profit from transit and taxes. With an expanding empire and growing bureaucracy, the Ottomans introduced more flexible revenue systems. Under the iltizam system and later its reforms, tax collection rights were temporarily auctioned to wealthy individuals who paid up front and collected taxes themselves, remitting a portion to the treasury. This made tax collection more efficient across vast and diverse territories, helped central authorities keep control while outsourcing collection, and ensured upfront cash revenues for the state. These wealthy tax farmers often became powerful in their own right, sometimes influencing local politics. But the system allowed the empire to finance infrastructure and military campaigns without constant central supervision. Over time, especially by 19th century, the empire's financial institutions evolved. A centralized treasury and formal financial bureaucracy emerged to manage revenues, budgets, and state spending, replacing earlier decentralized feudal-style systems. This institutional evolution allowed the empire to remain financially afloat even when internal and external pressures grew, changing trade patterns, wars, inflation in world markets. The Ottoman government established offices specifically to manage debt, collect customs, and monitor currency circulation, setting early examples of modern financial institutions. Yet no system is unbreakable. As Europe's economy changed, precious metals pouring in from America, shifting global trade routes, the empire faced inflation and declining trade revenue. At times, the treasury resorted to debasing coinage, reducing metal content, sharply increasing taxes, or confiscating wealth, moves that provided short-term relief but undermined long-term stability. Corruption, local resistance, and mismanagement sometimes amplified these problems, revealing cracks in an otherwise sophisticated system. In its last decades, especially during World I, the empire's finances were stretched dangerously thin. To fund war efforts and maintain the army, the state resorted to new taxes, external borrowing, printing paper money, and internal loans. When defeat came, the debts piled up around 288,523,933 Ottoman liras, a burden that outlasted the empire itself. Many of these debts were owed to European banks, showing how global finance could influence even the fate of centuries-old empires. What kept the Ottomans alive for centuries was not one trick, but a complex, adaptive financial system: coinage, agriculture, trade, tax farming, centralized bureaucracy. They diversified revenue streams and adapted institutions to changing economic realities. But in the end, global shifts, external debt pressure, and internal mismanagement exposed the frailties of even a centuries-old empire. The empire's ability to integrate multiple financial strategies, combining local taxes, trade revenue, and war funding, is still studied by historians and economists today. The Ottoman experience demonstrates that no matter how powerful a state appears, its survival is tied directly to the stability and adaptability of its economic systems. From minting coins to managing international trade, the empire innovated continuously, ensuring it could respond to crises. Every coin minted, every tithe collected, and every custom duty enforced reflected a careful balance of trust, authority, and economic foresight. Today, as we talk about modern economies, fiat money, inflation, debt, the Ottoman story has many lessons. An economy must stay diversified, institutions must adapt, and trust in money must be maintained. Otherwise, even the mightiest empire built on steel and faith can crumble under financial stress. The rise and fall of the Ottoman financial system reminds us that money is not just currency. It is power, trust, and the very backbone of civilization.